The blind auditions have been staged and our competitors have been selected. Hello and welcome to the 4th episode of The Fifth Chair. My name is Dr. Dan and you've tuned in to the ultimate viewing companion to the 3rd season of The Voice Australia. Now, I must admit, the battle rounds make me feel like I'm watching a scene from the Hunger Games. Friend against friend, artist against artist. Only one singer can be left standing. The other singer has to leave the show, never to be heard from again. Despite my personal misgivings about the artists being required to kill one another off in order to appease the adoring fans, our review of The Voice continues. Unfortunately, when you pit two singers against each other, it's inevitable that each of them will try and out-sing the other with big, high, sustained notes. Now, most singers have these so-called money notes. You know, the notes that everyone wants to hear them warble, croon, or blast into the stratosphere. Typically, under normal circumstances, singers are able to produce their money notes without being immediately compared to another singer and their money notes. But when we start competing on a mine is bigger than yours basis, things get a little bit nasty. Have a listen to the very first battle round performance from Sunday night by Johnny and Maybelle. Firstly, the performance key sits too low for Maybelle, and as a result, she finds herself cheating some of the low notes by falling off the mic and sending the notes to air. Now, this is interesting because the original key, as performed by Adele and shown here in green, is C minor, but the contestants sang the song 4 steps lower, 2 whole tones lower, and it's shown here in red. Not only would the original key have allowed Maybelle to sing the lower notes more comfortably, it would have allowed her to produce more impressive high notes, better money notes. The contestants' performance key was A flat minor, which meant that Maybelle's money note needed to sit on a B4. The lower key, however, benefited Johnny because his money note was an A flat 4. The A flat 4 sits at the top of Johnny's range and sounds impressive, but take that note up 2 tones and Johnny has to sing a C5, which would have almost certainly required him to sing in falsetto, a sound that would have lacked power and the all-important wow factor. If they had have split the difference and only taken the song down 2 steps to B flat minor, Johnny still would have been at a disadvantage because his money note would have been a B flat 4. And my best guess his voice would have sounded strangled and shrill because the note would have sat at the very cliff face of his upper register. All in all, someone somewhere has made the decision to transpose the song into a key that advantaged Johnny and disadvantaged Maybelle. I'm not into conspiracy theories, but I do believe in a fair fight. Maybelle lost this bout first and foremost because they didn't sing the song in the original key. The last performance of Sunday night's program was the battle between Ellie O, one of my top 8 picks, and Jess Barney. To quote Ricky Martin, this is the battle between classically trained and raw talent. Respectfully, I find myself disagreeing with Ricky's summation of the pairing. It's actually the battle between the trained and the untrained. Have a listen to the performance before we discuss this further. Despite my 2 years of tertiary classical voice training, I think it's prudent to remind you that I'm not a classical singer or a classical voice teacher. I'm a contemporary singing voice specialist. This being said, you'd have to be blind Freddie, or as the case may be, deaf Eddie, to not hear that this performance is not comparing apples with apples. To suggest otherwise is akin to suggesting that the Emperor's new clothes actually exist, where they clearly don't. I'm not suggesting that Jess couldn't, with years of hard work and determination, develop into a wonderfully skilled singer. But as it stands right now, the untrained voice of Jess Barney has been once again exposed as one of the weaker and less prepared voices of the competition. Did you notice how Ellie O grounded her performance with consistent airflow and body alignment that allowed her voice to accurately negotiate the melodic line? Yes, Ellie does need to work for a more effortless flow of phonation, and her performance falls short of being a masterclass in classical singing. But in comparison, Jess Barney's breath flow was shallow and her voice had to slide between notes just in order to negotiate the melodic patterns. Sadly, this tune had Jess punching way above her vocal weight class, and it was no surprise that Elio was selected as the winner of the bout. But fortunately for Jess, TV talent shows always have a few get out of jail free cards, and so Jess continues on to the next round. Well, my top 8 listing didn't make it far before suffering its first casualty. Courtney Hale was dropped during the first episode of the Battle Rounds. Personally, I can't fault the decision to let her go on the basis of her performance with Holy Tap. Courtney strutted around like a peacock showing off its feathers. Now that's all well and good if you're the only performer on stage or you're a part of a cabaret ensemble. But it looked awkward and overdone when performed next to Holly, who was a lot more centred in her delivery. I'm hoping I get the chance to talk about playing nice with others next episode. Before I wrap up this episode of The Fifth Chair and nominate my pick of the week, I want to quickly tell you about the super special I'm running on my vocal exercise CD, Dr. Dan's Voice Essentials. These past few weeks you've heard me talk a lot about technique and the lack thereof. My vocal workout CD is a specially designed compilation of exercises that will help you develop your voice in all the key areas of contemporary voice technique, including breath management, twang, belt, and registrational transitions. And for a short time only, you can get the CD via the Djarts online store for a very cool 50% off. So make sure you take advantage of this massive saving soon, because the special ends June 30. Finally, my pick of the week. I must admit that I thought I had my pick of the week all sorted until I heard this performance. Both Tando and Candice treated us to a wonderful performance of Clown, but it was Candice's performance in particular that showed us once again what can happen when the artist chooses to connect to the rep and communicate the song's message. Bravo, Candice, bravo. Until next week, when we'll endure another harrowing display of self-preservation, I'm Dr. Dan. Sing well.